Morning, folks. Another Sunday Drives with Chris. I haven't done this in a while, and thought maybe I'd just pop on here and say hello to you guys. So, heading to work. It was a busy weekend. Got a video filmed yesterday. I think you guys will really enjoy this one coming out next weekend for a Carnivore flatbread, and I used it to do a sausage roll style sandwich. Ash and I had those for dinner last night. Man, those were good. I've got the air fryer chicken wing video that's out. Kosori sent me their air fryer that I tested out, and I love that thing. I've been using that for a bunch of other things, just general cooking and all that kind of stuff too. I love that thing, man. It's doing a great job. Really happy to have that. So I'm going to be doing chicken wings again for us. They had them on sale, and so I had, gotten a couple of packs of them for us, and so we're going to do chicken wings again. And when I do that, I'm going to film just very briefly how I do my buffalo sauce, because I had a bunch of people commenting on the chicken wing video asking for the buffalo sauce recipe. So I'm going to do that. I really like the way I'm doing buffalo sauce. I used to do kind of the standard everybody else does of like Frank's Red Hot and butter, but it's just kind of thin and oily. When you go to a wing restaurant, like a really good one, there's usually something about their sauce that is more than just hot sauce and butter. Thicker, it's creamier, it sticks to the wings better, it just tastes better. There's a different thing that happens. I'm going to show you guys how I do mine. It's not just hot sauce and butter. I definitely do more than that. So I'm going to show you guys that. This week we've got the flatbread video. I'm going to be doing another product review from Kosori. I think you guys will really like that one too. When I do these product reviews, like, I'm not paid to give them a good review, right? They send me the product and say, hey, please test out this product, and that's the extent. Okay, cool. So I try the product, and I include a recipe video for you guys and kind of show you what it is, tell you my thoughts. The fact that I love that Kosori air fryer so much is because I just legitimately love that Kosori air fryer so much. The new product that I'm going to be doing, I actually have another version of it, but I'm excited to see if theirs is better. If it's good, I'll keep the Kosori on the counter, and if it's not good or not as good as what I've already got, then I'll use that one instead. We'll put it away, and maybe I don't know, sell it, give it to somebody who needs something like that. I don't know. I'm going to be doing that sometime this week. It probably won't come out until the beginning or middle of next week, but I'm going to go ahead and film that this week as well. I'm headed to work right now, and it's if you've watched some of my latest like vlog type videos and different things, you know that work has been a little frustrating. Trust in the good Lord above that there's a plan and a path for all of this with work, and it'll all be good, but it's just been a little frustrating with work lately, so I'm going to try not to get too involved in all of the junk that's going on there, which sometimes that's easier said than done, but we're going to do the best we can. Something that I think is really funny, my channel over time, when I first started my channel, I was getting a lot of comments from people who, would say things like, don't listen to this guy because he's overweight. Everything that was wrong with the diet that I'm eating and how it's going to kill me, and all the different kind of stuff and whatever. And that's a typical thing that happens to YouTubers in the keto and carnivore spaces. You get the online trolls that just have nothing better to do with their time but go into comment sections and trash on videos and whatever. Interestingly, now I don't get so much of that anymore. I still do occasionally, but not as much as I did. What I get now is I actually get people who tell me all of the reasons my recipes aren't actually carnivore because of the dairy or because of anything in it that's not exactly just meat with salt on it, or any of those kinds of things. I get some people that are saying that it's it's ultra processed, or it's not low carb, or just all these different kinds of things. There are a lot of shades of gray in each person's version of the proper human diet. Some people, like my wife, can handle a lot more carbs in a day. Some people cannot handle the slightest amount of carbs. If it's something like dairy, it can really affect some people badly. And there's a lot of people that are somewhere in between. It's, as like Dr. Barry always talks about, the bell curve kind of thing. It's a spectrum, and there's people on both extreme ends. But the thing is, I think sometimes the people that are on both extreme ends can have the loudest voices at times, because, and I get why, it's a human thing. We see ourselves in a position where we're maybe struggling with something in a way most people don't, and we want to shout it from the rooftops because we're so passionate about it. Like, I'm carnivore because if I have too many carbs, too many plant products of any kind, I start to get sick and I start to not do well. That doesn't mean that I can't have some seasonings and some herbs and some different things like that and be okay. There are certain ones I can have, and there are certain ones that really bother me. And so I've done the work to know which of those are which. I had to do that by going meat, salt, water, and then slowly introducing things back the first time I did carnivore. So I know the things that bother me, and I know the symptoms now when I've eaten something that doesn't work for me very well. I can tell within a day or two. I'm like, yeah, that was not a good idea. And so I keep track of what it is I can have and what it is I can't. So the recipes that I do, that's why like seasoning is always optional. When I do any of the bread type stuff, I generally use baking soda, which is just a mineral, and I use a little bit of vinegar. If for some reason somebody has an issue with vinegar and baking soda, you don't have to use that either. Like, it's nice because it makes it a little bit puffier and it lifts everything just a little bit more, and I think it's really great for the texture of those carnivore type bread, substitutes. But if you just can't do that, that's why there's always like a whipped egg white element to it, and it's like, just whip those egg whites real good. Just be real careful about trying not to get any more of that air knocked out of those egg whites than you have to. It's maybe not going to be as light and puffy, but it's still going to be pretty close. It's still going to be really good. So you can totally do that. There has to be common sense in these kinds of things. There's a real interesting divide that's beginning to happen in the keto carnivore world, where you have the real militant people that are saying, like, carnivore's meat, salt, water. Keto is this and none of these things, and that's all it can ever be. And if you ever do anything other than that, you're not keto and you're fake. And there's people that have turned this into like a religion. Use it as a way to look at the rest of us and try to beat us down. That we're not good enough. We don't rise to their standard. And truthfully, this happens in any kind of movement, any kind of anything. And keto and carnivore is a big movement right now because people are waking up and realizing how crazy the medical system is and how crazy the nutritional advice we've been given is, and just how sick society is getting because money matters more than the truth. And so it's a big movement, and anytime you have a big movement, you're always going to have a sect, an offshoot of people that go to the fringe, that go just, take it crazy far. And so there's this group that's really starting to divide off of the whole keto and carnivore world. And I think this is one of those things where human tendency takes us to a place where, some people want to use anything they have, anything they feel like they're good at, keto and carnivore, as a way to feel superior to other people, to feel like they are better than other people. And then they become very vocal about beating those other people down for it. of course, I'm right at the center of being the target for people like that because I'm out there very publicly doing this. And that's fine. I don't care. That doesn't affect me. That doesn't bother me. Like, that's just part of the game. I'm more than happy to, deal with that and run my YouTube channel accordingly. But the thing that I want you guys to know is, some of these recipes that I do, there's a lot of dairy. And it may work really well for some people. Some of these recipes I do, there's not as much dairy, and that's cool. And some recipes that I'm working on, there's not going to be any dairy. So you have to decide for your own self, for your own journey and your own diet. What do you want to do? Does the dairy bother you? If it does, don't do it. If you think you can handle some of it, okay, maybe limit the number of times you make recipes like this, but they're great for, occasional things. That's kind of how I use them. And if you're just like, dairy doesn't affect me at all, great, then, do your thing. And I would suggest test it, try going without dairy for a while, and then try adding it back in to find out if it works for you. And if it works for you, awesome. And then if it doesn't work for you, then you know. But more than anything, all of this is you experiment with the various seasonings or dairy or egg whites versus egg yolks or all of these different things that I've heard from people. Decide for yourself what the right way of doing a proper human diet is, because you have done the experimentation and the work and you know how your body feels and reacts. Don't listen to some yahoo on the internet who's telling you what is and isn't right. Right? Now, asparagus, that's not carnivore because that's a plant. Seasonings, technically those aren't carnivore. I get that. It doesn't mean you can't use some of them and, still be okay. That's kind of like a loose, dirty carnivore where you use seasonings and, whatever. If it's an animal product, it's carnivore. If it's a plant product, it's not. And you need to decide, okay, well, how loose and dirty am I going to let myself be? What does my body do? That's up to you to decide. Somebody else telling you your diet is not good enough for their expectations to rise to their belief of what you should be doing, that is a waste of brain energy to worry about that. So study, learn the ins and outs, the why, various things that happen in your body when you try different things. Find the things that are triggers, find the things that are no problem, find the recipes that stabilize you, because it's like, I can have a treat now and then and not have a big deal, like a pizza. It's carnivore pizza. Or here's the recipes that really bother me. Maybe the pizza really bothers you and maybe it triggers something. Figure out which recipes work for you and figure out which ones don't. Figure out what kinds of things bother you and what kinds of things make you feel good. Design your proper human diet and the recipes that you use accordingly. And don't worry about nut jobs on the internet that try to tell you how your version of a proper human diet doesn't meet their standards. Just ignore that. So anyway, that's just on my mind today, guys. I've got my coffee. I am at work. I'm going to walk in and face the day. I hope you guys are having a great Sunday, and I hope you have an amazing week coming up. Make sure to do all of the cool things you can to enjoy that lifestyle that comes with eating keto and carnivore and the health that you're taking back, and do good things for yourself because you are worth every bit of that, and so is your family. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for being here and supporting me. I love y'all. Eat your meat. Love your life. This is Chris cooking Nashville, and I'm going to see you guys in the kitchen for the next recipe real soon.